What if the people draining your energy, twisting your emotions, aren't just difficult, they're a mirror of your own hidden struggles? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, warned us, "Stay away from anyone demanding these 5 things. Some don't seek love. They crave control. They don't reach for your heart. They want your time, your silence, your obedience, your soul." These requests might seem harmless at first, but they're red flags that could cost you your peace, your identity, even your life. In this video, we'll expose the 5 most dangerous demands people make and why walking away might be your ultimate act of self-preservation. Get ready to see through the masks and reclaim your soul. Let's dive in. Part 1. The Mask. Behind the Request. Jung's persona concept. At first, some people appear incredibly charming. They request things that seem harmless. Your time, your trust, your attention. But as Carl Jung advised, the surface rarely reveals the full truth. Every demand carries a hidden motive. In Jungian psychology, this underlying intention is often tied to the persona, the mask individuals wear to navigate and be accepted in society. The persona isn't inherently malicious. It's essential. We all adapt socially to function in workplaces, families, and communities. However, when someone becomes overly attached to their persona, believing they are the mask, they start manipulating others subtly to preserve that image. People who make frequent self-centered demands are often trapped in their persona, disconnected from their authentic self. They don't engage with you as a complete person. They project a socially acceptable facade, using it to extract energy from others, emotional validation, control, loyalty, or even your silence. Jung urged us to look deeper when someone's words and behavior seem too polished, too perfect, or too innocent. The persona always conceals something, often the shadow, the disowned, denied parts of the psyche projected onto others. Those detached from their shadow acted out unconsciously through manipulation, passive aggression, guilt-tripping, or chronic neediness. Consider this example. Someone says, "I just need you to be there for me." On the surface, it feels reasonable, even vulnerable. But when it's repeated without reciprocity, it becomes an energetic trap. You feel obligated, drained, guilty for setting boundaries. This isn't love or friendship anymore. It's persona-driven survival rooted in emotional dependency. The issue isn't the request itself, but the psychological mechanism behind it, the unspoken assumption that you owe them something to make them feel whole. Jung called this spiritual inflation, when someone relies on external validation to fill what they haven't integrated within. These individuals may not intend harm. Often, they're wounded. But it's not your duty to heal their wounds at the expense of your authenticity. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." You can't become your true self if you're constantly bending to the emotional demands of someone unaware of their own inner divide. So, when someone repeatedly asks for your time, energy, forgiveness, loyalty, or secrets, and you feel emotionally twisted, ask, am I responding to their authentic self, or to a persona designed to bind me to their unprocessed shadow? Staying away doesn't always mean cutting ties physically. It can mean establishing clear emotional and energetic boundaries, stepping out of the psychological dance that keeps you small. Every moment you sacrifice your truth to serve someone else's mask, you lose a piece of your soul. In the following parts, we'll dive into 5 specific requests that are red flags in Jungian psychology, demands that seem harmless but are deeply manipulative when they come from someone who hasn't done their inner work. Part 2. Give me your time. The empty self's psychological hunger. Giving someone your time might seem like the most loving, generous act. After all, time is one of our most precious resources. But Carl Jung reminds us that not every request for time stems from connection. Some are rooted in emptiness, a psychological hunger that no amount of giving can satisfy. These individuals don't seek your companionship. They want your presence to fill their sense of incompleteness. Jung termed this an encounter with the empty self, a person who hasn't built a secure identity and uses others to plug that void. When someone consistently demands your time without regard for your schedule, needs, or energy, they're not seeking a relationship. They're seeking emotional anesthesia. You become the painkiller for their loneliness, insecurity, or boredom. It feels like intimacy, but it's emotional consumption. The Jungian explanation: lack of individuation. In Jungian psychology, this behavior signals a failure to undergo individuation, the process of becoming a psychologically whole, integrated individual. Without individuation, a person remains stuck in a fragmented ego, chasing external stimulation to avoid their inner void. This isn't just a flaw, it's a soul-level crisis. Those who constantly demand your time may do so because they fear their own inner world. Solitude would force them to confront the shadow they've buried, unresolved grief, shame, fear, or rage. Jung warned that those who haven't made peace with their shadow project their suffering onto others. Here, they project the responsibility for healing onto you. Suddenly, it's your job to answer every message. Always be available. Never miss a call. When you try to reclaim your time, you face guilt trips, passive aggression, or accusations of abandonment. I thought you cared about me. You used to always be there. I guess I can't count on anyone. Sound familiar? These aren't just words. They're psychological weapons, often unconscious, but no less harmful. They stem from the fear that without you, they'll collapse into the emptiness they've never faced. The energetic toll on you. What happens when you keep giving your time to someone like this? You feel drained, resentful, trapped. Your creativity dwindles. Your peace fades. You might cancel things that bring you joy to avoid disappointing them. You may feel guilty every time you prioritize your needs. This is a warning. Jung believed chronic guilt often signals a betrayal of the self. The more you give your time to someone using it to escape themselves, the more you're pulled into a codependent dynamic where your identity is defined by their emotional crisis. Healthy time versus soul theft. There's a difference between healthy support and soul theft. When someone truly values your time, they respect your boundaries, autonomy, and inner life. They don't drain you to numb their pain. They honor your presence and reciprocate. But when someone keeps asking for your time without growth, reflection, or reciprocity, it's not love. It's psychic feeding. Jung taught that true relationships involve two whole individuals relating from fullness, not neediness. If you're constantly the emotional crutch, you're not in a relationship. You're in a survival system, and that system is unsustainable. Ask yourself, do I feel freer or more burdened after spending time with this person? Are they growing, or am I just helping them avoid growth? Am I allowed to say no without emotional punishment? These questions help you distinguish authentic connection from spiritual parasitism. Final thought for part 2. Carl Jung wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." If someone repeatedly demands your time but shows no effort to evolve, heal, or become whole, you're not helping them. You're enabling their avoidance. True compassion doesn't mean endless availability. Sometimes the most loving act is stepping back